Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to be playing Elise and we'll be facing off against the Nasus adventure from the Teamfight Adventures campaign. I saw that we needed to beat this adventure with a Shadow Elves champion, and since we had such a high success with the last time we played Elise, I figured we should do it again. And it seemed appropriate since this adventure's power is your Nexus cannot be healed in combat encounters. We should play something aggressive so that we don't have to worry about healing our Nexus in combat encounters. Now this layout is interesting. The last boss is hidden. I thought it would be Nasus, since Nasus is the one on the art for the adventure, but maybe it's someone different. We'll see. I'm still running Fear Cleaving Axe, but I changed my other two relics. I decided to buy Elise's bundle since the Queen's Embrace seemed like an interesting epic relic. And it's basically the other two ones I was using before combined into one, and that lets us have an additional relic slot. So we're running Troll King's Crown, so my spiderlings have overwhelm, even if Elise is not on board, but particularly if she is on board. Yeah, let's get to it. Pilfer. Each round, the first time you kill an enemy, create a 1/1 copy of it in hand, create a champion duplicator in hand. If your back row is full, gain a mandate gem. We do fill up our board nicely, but I'm not sure how useful extra mana actually is. I think something that buffs the stats of our units is more important. BRB is definitely not good. Clear Mind is something we passed up last time around. Ascension is interesting. I suppose that makes our late game a bit better, but we'll see how good it actually is. I don't know if we'll actually make it past round 5 on most encounters. We can potentially just end up killing the opponent on one turn. The opponent starts off with an Inspiring Martial, which will be able to block our Elise, which is a problem, but I want to attack right away, just to proc Elise's effect, get a bunch of keywords onto the spiderlings right away, and we had a backup Elise in hand, so that was fine. Now the unfortunate part is that we're just drawing all the high hand in our deck on the first turn, or on the first couple of turns. That's the problem. Next turn we'll go up to 4. Let's stun that one. At least we'll be able to trade into the other ones. But maybe I don't even need to attack with Elise. I'll attack with Elise anyway. Just because we need to develop more units onto the board. This is a problem. We are now officially out of Elises, so we won't be able to get Fierce Challenger on our spiderlings. We can get Quick Attack though. Let's fill up our board by using the Brood Awakening. Just try and contest the opponents. Now the opponent doesn't have a board, and I'll have at least a spiderling on board. So maybe I can still win this, even though I just lost a significant portion of my health. We'll do Arachnoid Host. Proc the Evolve. The opponent's going for the Sun Soldiers. And he survives with 1 HP. It will be a problem if he gets to attack. Especially if he gets to attack with that. How should I do this? This is 4 for the Crumble. And it's 5 for the Spirit Journey. I am going to do Crumble there. He is going to attack with a Fallen Suns General. I'll Spirit Journey it. I'm not worried about that. Then next turn I'll attack with a Spiderling. And I'll close out the game. Or I'll attack with both of my units, and if he blocks the Spiderling I close out the game with the Arachnoid Horror. I need to gamble on the opponent not having anything to stop my attack, otherwise I would lose anyway. Because the opponent would be able to develop a board. 8 regeneration for 8 health and a dream. Spider Fangs on this sapling. Not the most exciting thing. Let's reroll once. Soul Spinner. Ember Maiden. Nah, let's reroll yet again. Precious Pet. I'm going to take it because the Golden Spatula is actually relevant in this deck. It's a board-wide buff for everything. Now for our support champion. Honestly, something that has a decent keyword on it would be nice. Zillion doesn't have a keyword. Tariq has Tough, which our Spiderlings already have, so we don't need it. Lucian has synergy with units dying. And quick attack is decent enough. Ooh, Jack with double attack brush is very tempting to pick up, but I think Lucian is better. We need the early game. Big Game Tycoon. Or Vicious Mockery. That might be... What encounter is the easiest? Maybe the Big Game Tycoon? Or Vicious Mockery will just remove my small Spiderlings. Let's go for the slot bot. We're going to buy a couple of rerolls and then we're going to go for the Big Game Tycoon. We have 1 revive, so we have a bit of a safety net. Let's keep 1 Elise. Keep both Elises. I'm going to attack with my first Elise anyway. It will probably die on the first turn.
I know what lurks in the shadows.
Nothing. Am I just going to get this attack for free, opponent? Or relatively free. There go both my units. That's unfortunate. And I accomplished basically nothing with that attack. I guess I summoned this Spiderling. Let's stun the largest unit on the opponent's board. Hope he doesn't play anything else. And the has now developed a very scary board. I need to block as much as possible. Unfortunately. I think I can go Elise Lucian.
I don't bite.
Yeah. Lucian buffs up the Elise. I can do this.
You won't suffer long.
Let's see if he blocks the Lucian. He blocks the Lucian. That's actually ideal for me. Now I get another attack off with my Elise. So I get to develop... Not only do I get to develop an additional spider,
We could use a
but I might close out the game here. Yep. Okay, that went significantly better than the first encounter. We only lost 5 health instead of 30. Let's see if the shop has some good pickups for us. All of these are pretty bad. Let's reroll once. Wild Fist is a good card. Let's pick it up. Radiant Guardian is interesting. The other ones are meh. Duelist. Tempting. It procs the evolve right away, so I suppose it's good. And the foe transforms one of their units, give it +5/+5 this round. According to the player's units -1/-0, then kill all the player's units with 0 power. Emperor's Guard, Champion Item Chest. What's the hardest? This guy has an infinite fearsome attacker. This guy is a Shadow in the Brush. Let's go for the Shadow in the Brush. I'm just going to assume these are the hard versions of both encounters, since the opponents have the deadly modifier and all. Let's toss all of these back. Hopefully we draw an Elise right here at the start. By keeping Lucian in our opening hand, we increase the odds of that happening. Volley of Imitation.
I don't bite.
I'm going to attack. I should have pulled the Shadow in the Brush. That's the smallest. That was a blunder on my end. And now I get to pay for it by leaving both of the opponent's units with 1 HP. One of them isn't even going to die because it's the Volley of Imitation. I guess I'll stun that one.
Just like I taught you.
That's fine. We're still going to be able to trade into both of these. So we're keeping control of the board. And we still get a Spiderling back. Let's go Senna and Lucian. Can actually proc Lucian's level up here. Do I care about proccing Lucian's level up? We're going to do it like this, but this doesn't give us an open attack or an attack off of the rally. If the opponent has a buff for the Aurora Lunatis, I'm just screwed anyway, right? It's better if I just do this. Okay, he's going to prowl there. So now I do get to level up Lucian and proc Lucian's effect to rally. I'll actually kill the Volley of Imitation. This thing will stay at 1 health until the next turn. The Volley of Imitation won't. so it's preferable to remove the thing that I have. I'll have a lot more trouble removing later on.
There's nothing to fear.
Really? It's going to pass with 3 mana. I'll take it actually. This way we get to Vile Feast on our terms, on our offensive turn. Okay, that's actually fine. I intend to go Brood Awakening here anyway. I waste 1 Spiderling, but I buff up my entire board by a bunch and set up so that the opponent dies.
We could use the bite.
Yeah, you might kill the Elise, but you're still dead, because my Spiderlings have double attack thanks to the Lucian. After that first encounter, things seem to be going very well for us. We're going to get to pick up an additional item for our champions here. Sure, I'll take the Bark Beast, it's cheap enough. Let's get the item. Ginzu's Rage Blade or Dragon's Claw. More keywords on my Spiderlings is very tempting. But Ginzu's might make it so Elise can attack a bit easier at the start of the game. This makes our Spiderlings extremely sticky. But I think keeping the Elise alive is valuable as well. So we're going to go for the one upgrade that allows us to go for Elise at the start of the game and then then attack right away with her. Do I want to cut a card here? I'm pretty satisfied with most of my deck. Maybe I should cut the Spell Slinger, but even then he has come in useful sometimes. Maybe Frenzied Skitterer. The weakest link is probably the Bark Beast. I can also heal myself here. Going to Viego with full life. We're at 21. We can buy an additional 21. I'll do it. I'll try to give myself the highest chance of beating Viego, because Viego is a tough encounter. Ooh, double Elise. That's a keep. We're basically guaranteed to draw Lucian here. We don't draw Lucian. Let's see if the opponent drops down something that I can kill with the Elise. That's not something we can kill with the Elise.
I don't fight.
But at the very least I can pull that with the Elise and the Elise won't die. I can also just pull Viego with the Elise and while the Elise dies, Viego dies as well. I think that's a lot more valuable. We have 2 Elises in hand anyway. That's a problem. He's going to revive Viego in 2 turns. I need to do something about that.
I know what lurks in the shadows.
I'll think about it once it actually happens. I'm definitely going to trade in the Precious Pet. That just guarantees a Spiderling next turn, and Spiderlings are a lot more valuable. So even though Elise stops being able to generate Spiderlings, I now have a pretty good attack into this board from the opponent. This, here and here. We clear most of the opponent's board. The Viego is going to generate a mist, but that's okay. He's going to save the Soul Shepherd. Okay. Could be worse. I don't know why I didn't kill the unit that was pulling the Viego, or maybe kill the Elise. But I'm not going to question the opponent's bad decisions. In fact, I need him to make bad decisions. That's a problem. I didn't realize my spiderlings could be turned against me. Especially with them having all those keywords. I suppose Elise is going to die here. There's no way he doesn't pull Elise with that spiderling. I guess I was wrong, and he doesn't want to pull the Elise with the spiderling. I'm tempted to just do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to develop a large board here. I am going to end the turn, and I'm just going to attack with a board full of spiderlings buffed up by the Ascension. Like this. Sure, the opponent might survive this if he has the Senna's champion spell, but he doesn't have. And even if he had, I'm not certain it would have been enough to survive. Okay, now we go back to full health. We get an additional power. I'd say we're in a very good position. Oh, huge! Elise with Shadow Totem. That's exactly what we needed. Now we get double the benefits off of the Fear Cleaving Axe, which makes our Elise even harder to kill at the start of the turn. Well, you have exactly 2 units with the same name. They have +3/+3. That's going to make our first turn extremely powerful, because Elise is going to get buffed, and the spiderlings the 2 Elises are going to summon are going to get buffed. Afterwards, it's going to be pretty useless, but it's significantly better than both of these options, so I'm just going to take it. And that might actually be enough to justify going for this path, so we get access to a power. In addition to this augment, each round, the first time the foe summons a unit, it strikes one of the player's units at random. Each round. So it should work like the Avaros and Trapper's power, where if I let the opponent place something onto my empty board, the power just fizzles and he gets nothing. I'll toss everything, I'll keep the Elise. Maybe I'll draw Lucian. Okay, as 4 mana and a Callous Bone Crusher. Let's pass the turn. Let him waste his mana so I can go for an Elise pretty safely. Yeah, I don't think the Lucky Find is going to be enough to save you. Let's do it like so. This way I ensure that my non-ephemeral Elise survives, because I'm pretty sure if I attacked like this, I would end up taking more damage on my non-ephemeral Elise. Yeah. If I do this, Elise survives with 4. If I did it with the other way around, Elise would survive with 1. The extra health might matter. Elise is going to level up next turn. Though Elise's level up is not really relevant. But I do get to have 3 spiderlings on board. That's fine, because reducing the number of spiderlings on board is actually a detriment for the opponent, because the other ones get buffed up. Now they trade favorably into the opponent's Vakar and Bruiser. And it doesn't matter because he's dead anyway. Nice. Okay, I think we're in the clear. The first couple of encounters were a little bit of a challenge because we didn't have that raw lethality to just close out the encounters in a couple of turns. It might have been due to my choice in the first power, choosing something that would only come online later on. But now we're just crushing the encounters. Unfortunately, none of these powers are all that awesome. So I'm tempted to reroll. I'll reroll. We can do better. Communal mana flow. Rush them down. I'm going to pick up the rush them down. I think it should be significantly better. Communal mana flow, it will probably just help the opponents more than it helps me. I want the games to go quicker, not longer. And our curve is very cheap. We have a lot of 1s and 2s and we have a single 6. We don't need the extra mana. Yeah, let's pick up the rush them down. Champion item chest, epic or a shop? Let's decide after this encounter. Dune Swallower. Dune Swallower is usually a very big problem or a walk in the park, depending on if we hit the 50% chance or not. Let's see if we're lucky today. When the player plays their first, yeah, 50% chance when we play our first unit. So let's just rip that Band-Aid off right away.
There's nothing to fear.
Okay, he didn't hit the 50% chance on the first turn. He's all passing the turn. I guess he doesn't want me to trade with my Elises and my Spiderlings for free.
Now, you won't suffer long.
Well, whatever. He's just going to take 52 damage here. If he doesn't want to throw any units into the meat grinder. Yep. Well, that's completely irrelevant. Now I just get to jump block both of his attackers in his offensive turn. I sacrifice nothing. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with you attacking here. He doesn't, obviously. He knows that would have been a blunder. Well, now... honestly, I can just do this. Why overthink anything when I can just attack right away and close out the game with the units I have on board? The opponent would have needed to have an answer at faster burst speed. He could have the quicksand or whatever it's called to remove keywords from my units. That might have saved him, but that was just a temporary solution. Warding Charm on Elise, sure. And then I can go champion item chest or his shop. Will this epic encounter actually give me some decent items, or it's just going to give me Thieves' Gloves and I'm going to be sad? I'm pretty sure it's just going to give me Thieves' Gloves, so let's not go there. Officer backup, nope. Early Bird, summon the weakest follower from my deck. The weakest follower in my deck is the Bark Beast, but excluding that, it's the Precious Pet. Honestly, yeah. Summoning the Bark Beast right away will probably have a positive impact on the board. And I'm going to pick up the extra item for the Vile Feast. And here I'll cut maybe the Arachnoid Host. It's a little bit top heavy for our deck. Too top heavy. I'm not going to cut the Radiant Strike because I don't mind the cheap combat trick. When the foe is a unit, grant their units in hand +1/+1. Is that the normal power Nasus has? I don't remember. I I only remember losing to the Nasus encounter in the other campaign because Nasus had a full hand of siphoning strikes and a single Nasus, and it just cleared my entire board and I lost. That's what I remember. Alright, Shadow Totem no longer it's no longer a summon effect, it's a play effect. I completely forgot that's how it worked now. Well, that's significantly less useful than I wanted it to be. But we're still in a decent position. I'm going to be able to summon Elise here. My spiderlings are not going to get buffed up, unfortunately, like the Elises are. But it should be alright. Instead of going tall with the spiderlings, we'll just go wide instead. The additional spiderling has more stats than these two would get if they were alone anyway, so this translates into more damage. That's scary. Let's drop down the Lucian just to act as a sort of deterrent from the opponent attacking into me, because he runs the risk of either leveling up Lucian or killing it, meaning I get a free attack. Okay, so he doesn't mind killing the Lucian, it seems, or leveling up the Lucian, it seems. I'm going to let that go through. I'm not worried about him leveling up Nasus. He kills 2 spiderlings. That's fine, I'll get one back with the Vile Fist, and then I'll get another one back from more power at the end of the turn. And now we attack with everything, and the opponent loses. We can even ensure that our Elise doesn't die. Game over for the opponent. Okay, that was a lot more tense than I wanted it to be, but it doesn't matter because we won. And we even won without using a single one of our revives. Mostly impressed. Once we lost 30 health right there at the start, I figured we would end up losing one of our revives, or actually our only revive in this champion. But it was no big deal instead. I surprised myself right there. So yeah, that will be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Till then.